Hello everyone, this is Choboswaggins aka Jealous from Team Liquid, and today I'll be bringing you a broadcast from the round of 16 for the SSCAIT 2020 through 2021 tournament. The round robin stage has completed, and the 16 AI that you see on your screen here in the bracket are the ones that advanced to the main tournament stage. We will be doing the first four matches listed here: Stardust against Tier Protoss, Dragon against Crazio, Monster against Proxy, Hao Pan against Xiao Yi. And you can also see the seeds here. This is based on their results from the round robin stage. We had Stardust coming in first place and thus claiming the #1 seed. And that is what we'll be starting our broadcast off with today. So here we go. We have Stardust against Tier Protoss on La Mancha. Now, Stardust is starting as the orange Protoss in the top left, and we have Tier Protoss starting as the teal Protoss in the bottom right. And it should be an interesting match. All of the AI that qualified through the round robin tournament had to fight very hard. Their authors put in a lot of work. Some people have been utilizing strategies that are hidden by not updating their bots leading into the tour, not publicly updating them, working in quiet. So it'd be really interesting to see what kind of builds we're going to see here today. It looks like Stardust, who is famous for his Dragoon openings, is starting off quite standard. It does have a probe dancing around its main base, probably scared of proxies, perhaps. In the meantime, we have one Zealot out for Tier Protoss from the first gateway, and same for Stardust as well. No gas yet. It is actually a Nexus, so it's one gateway expand. This could be interesting against Stardust. It depends on how well they will be able to hold. A little bit of probe press there does get denied by immediate attack from the Stardust probes. And let's see how the game progresses, where you have two gateways up for Stardust. Stardust, of course, infamous for its 4 gateway Dragoon builds in all 3 matchups. In the meantime, we do have more gateways coming up for Teal as well, but without cannons to defend, it might be difficult to hold against Dragoons. The Zealot numbers right now are enough to hold against Dragoons. Zealots actually have better DPS than Dragoons in a Zealot versus Dragoon matchup. However, Dragoons, of course, have much better potential for kiting, doing hit-and-run tactics, as we're going to see here. The Dragoons back off after taking down a probe. Now Dragoons coming out for Tier as well, pulling probes to help defend. Very nicely done. The additional Nexus is going to help with economy. Currently already 8 workers ahead of Stardust. Stardust only has 23 workers, but that is partially because of the fact that it has very efficient mining. It does not need more to constantly be mining. More probes being pulled again here, trying to surround the Dragoon and Zealot army. Pressure is starting to mount for Stardust, as it is on 3 gateways, but it did adapt by going for a Nexus of its own after seeing that from its opponent. Engagement here, probes being pulled again, hurting the efficiency of the extra economy for Tier Protoss, giving Stardust a little bit of a chance to come back into this. Nice target fire from both players here. Stardust is keeping that Dragoon count low, but itself is not climbing as fast as one might expect either. However, it is, again, as I mentioned before, catching up in economy. More gateways being added now for Tier Protoss, going up to 4 gateways. Can't help but feel that maybe this is a little bit late. Robotics could have been delayed in the face of so many Dragoons. It's very unlikely to see Dark Templar after this number of Dragoons, especially if Tier Protoss assumes that Stardust is on 1 base. But now the Dragoon count is climbing. Dragoon count for Tier Protoss is constantly being kept low. Great micro with the with the probes and the Zealot here. Managing to get some surrounds, but it's not going to be enough. There's still 3 Dragoons remaining, all of them at full main health. And now with 6 Dragoons against 2 Dragoons, 3 Zealots, this is going to be a difficult fight. The probes have to be pulled again. Great surround here. What a surround. This is exactly how you want to hold the pressure of this nature, but you do also want to catch up in production as soon as possible. As we see here, Stardust is now going up to 7 gateways. The production is going to be incredible from them. Worker count still in favor of Tier Protoss, but as I mentioned before, since they're always being pulled like this, it's quite possible that they're not getting as efficient of mining here. And with the supply difference, it's all in army. 10 extra more supply for Stardust now over Tier Protoss. Tier Protoss is trying to stay alive here by sending its units as soon as they pop out, but with 7 gateway production, now looks like going up, no, 9, 10 11 gateway production from 3 bases soon for Stardust here. It's going to be incredibly difficult to hold. Even now, up to 7 gateways, it's not going to be enough to hold off against Stardust, and Stardust showing us potentially why it is the #1 ranked bot right now, the #1 seed coming out of the round robin, and it looks like this game has been decided for Stardust. Yes, and so let's move on to the next game. Very nice performance from both bots here. I really enjoyed the pulling of the probes from Tier Protoss, but it was not enough, unfortunately. Tier Protoss in this case starting on Empire of the Sun on the top right position as the red Protoss, and we have Stardust starting as the yellow Protoss in the top left position. And yeah, let's see if we're going to get a repeat of the first game here. The strategy choice from Tier Protoss was interesting with the early expansion, but it just never caught up in army production the way that you would want to. Stardust had a great adaptation by going for a Nexus quite earlier than it normally would with its 4 gateway production, and is going to be 2 gate from both of them, so slightly different. Possibly due to the fact that this is a rampless map, I do think that 2 gateway is a safer choice because you're, it's easier to apply pressure. It's harder to defend with Dragoons or hold a choke point with a shield battery. So 2 gateway zealots taking down the probe from Stardust. Stardust instead taking a defensive position here. Array has his gas on the way. No gas yet for Tier Protoss. Great control here from Stardust, being able to prevent Tier Protoss from going in and doing any economic damage. And now with 6 zealots, I think we might start seeing Dragoon production here. Yes, Dragoon production has started. Tier Protoss still hemorrhaging a couple of zealots. Should not be engaging in this concave like this. Cannons are being added now in case this was a DT opener from Tier Protoss, but Tier Protoss still on no gas. Actually up to 4 gateways. It's going to be pure zealot production going to try to bust this down, but with the growing number of Dragoons and with the cannon support from behind is going to be incredibly difficult. These 6 zealots here are going to be crucial for defending, and actually 3 more added, maybe as a response to the number of zealots from red. The red zealots are trying to fight, but in that choke point, it is a DPS nightmare for it because of the Dragoons and the cannon back here going to be able to stave off that attack for a little bit longer. Is there going to be any sight of tech in our future? Yes, there is. Now it is Tier Protoss that is doing 4 gateway Dragoon, but 4 gateway Dragoon already up and running for Stardust. Stardust moves out and forces back the army from Tier Protoss, who is trying to expand actually behind this. This is going to be a pretty even battle here, I think. The choke point is trying to be held by red. The zealot count is not quite high enough. The Dragoon count for Stardust is just so much greater, and you can't help but feel that because of those early losses from Tier Protoss. I feel like that is what decided the game here. Stardust going up now 2-0 against Tier Protoss, and is now match point going into the last, well, potentially the last game of this series. Stardust starting in the top right as the teal Protoss on Circuit Breaker. Nope, sorry, this is Andromeda actually. Apologies for that. And we have Tier Protoss, the purple Protoss, on the bottom right of Circuit Breaker. So we've already seen different builds. Ooh, no, is this probe stuck, or is this my replay not working well? No, it looks like everything's fine here. Looks like there is some issues with Tier Protoss's army movement and decision making here. What's going on here? I'm really confused. Is this going to be a fast expand? 9 Nexus? No, this is going to be a Forge. Okay, this is going to be a fast expand, seemingly, with cannons. This could work against Stardust. Stardust seems to be preferring a defensive option with its early zealots and before it can get that Dragoon mass rolling. But Dragoons in general should do quite well against cannons, and it's notoriously difficult to place cannons in a way that functions well in terms of SimCity and gives you a good arc. I've seen AI make errors in that situation, so it's going to be interesting to see how Tier Protoss follows this up. 600 minerals being floated right now. No Nexus. Finally, the Nexus gets put down. Interestingly enough, had to bring a different probe for that. Stardust, recognizing that these cannon net count is too much for it to handle right now, is going to start building that concave on the outside. Tier Protoss, recognizing that there might be pressure coming in soon, starting to add cannons. One cannon does go down, another one is burning. Adding more cannons now, but as the Dragoon count is going to climb, Yes, that's going to be enough to bust now. Almost. The pylon is in jeopardy now. This cannon will soon be powered. Nope, he's going to run in, try to snipe that cannon. He does so, does get rid of the zealots as well, and you can't help but feel that this build did not work out the way that Tier Protoss would have liked. Great reaction from Stardust, just doing its regular 4-gate Dragoon build order, and is going to take that first series. 3-0, so let's put that in there. We've been having some problems with challenge recently, so maybe not quite surprising. But anyway, I just want to take this moment to point out, as Stardust moves into round 2 with a 3-0 score against Tier Protoss is going to go into the losers round. This is a double elimination tournament, which means that we also have finals, and I guess you would call them super finals in case the winner's side bracket AI that advanced loses to the losers bracket. We have a second set of grand finals here. But in the meantime, we're going to continue now to Dragon versus Crazio. This is going to be an intense game. Two very high level AIs. And poor Tier Protoss, well fought, interesting builds. I love the fact that there was 3 different builds for this match. It shows that they're trying different things, they're experimenting, but unfortunately Stardust, with great reactions, great production, is going to come out ahead here with a 3-0 score. Moving on, we have Dragon versus Crazio for the next series. Dragon spawning at the 6 o'clock position on Destination as the light blue Terran, and we have Crazio Protoss spawning at the 12 o'clock position as the teal Protoss. Normally we see Crazio playing Terran, so it seems that maybe they got 2 AI in, or maybe the Protoss is playing really well recently. So my major experience has been with Crazio Terran, so it's going to be interesting to see what Crazio Protoss goes for. It did go for a Forge, which is not a common strategy against Terran. Interested to see how this manifests. Looks like it's saving up minerals for a Nexus, perhaps. Or is it a Cannon Rush? No, it's a Cannon Contain. Interesting. In the meantime, Dragon is going for a Raxa Fee, it seems like, with a bunker. I think that this is a good choice. This is going to give an economic advantage. Siege tanks will be coming out a little bit later, but it's not as if the cannons can exactly snipe tanks anyway. So I'm not sure if this investment from Crazio is worth it. Maybe it's hoping to also mess with the AI. 2 SCVs here. Looks like they're awaiting pressure that is not going to come. Should be noted also that the pylon prison here, interestingly, would prevent any vultures from running out as well. So maybe this was made purely to mess with the AI of the opponent. Dragon is no slouch, however, known for its biomech play, so maybe the cannons are in response to the knowledge that Dragon tends to make a lot of Marines. Cannons are good against Marine Medic, up to a certain amount. Nexus just now finishing up for Crazio, who's going to be a little bit behind economically. If you look at the worker count, Dragon already up to 30 workers against the 21 of Crazio P. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. More cannons being added in case of a run-by, I guess, or a drop. First gateway just now finishing up, and 3 probes being sent to the gas now. It's going to be interesting to see how Crazio follows up with this. Is going to need some army production soonish. First siege tank is out. Let's see, is siege mode on the way? Yes, it is. It's almost done, in fact. So yeah, 1 siege tank would be enough to take down these cannons, and then the pressure is on. How much army can Crazio P pull out before this happens? Actually, still not trying to take down the cannons. I'm sure that the SCVs are aware of it. I mean, you see them dancing around here. I'm guessing that is because they tried to come out and they do see that it's too dangerous to do so. In the meantime, we are adding more gateways for Crazio P. Still not really much of an army. Actually, literally 0 army. But it is catching up in worker supply. Still down 8 at this point. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next. Adding another cannon here. That's cute. I like that. Yeah, it's going to come down to the question of how well can Dragon siege push these cannons. Could have done so a while ago, but maybe waiting for a critical number of army before doing so. 4 factories actually now, so it doesn't seem like it is going to be bioplay. It's going to be mostly vultures and siege tanks. Early Marines probably just used more for defensive purposes. Oh, we see the first engagement now. The Marine walked into the cannon fire, saw them, The siege tanks are now going to start pushing the cannon slowly. That's one cannon down, second one down now. And it's not going to be much longer until the other ones come down too. 3 Nexus now up for Crazio P and a StarGate. Is going to be interesting what comes out of that. Marines would be able to handle some, like a scout in these numbers. 6 or 7 Marines can definitely do so. Interesting to see what's going to come out of that for Crazio P. So far, only 2 Dragoons that I can see on the map, but army count is climbing. Dark Templar out now. Interesting. This is going to be interesting to see. Mines are laid down outside the front, though. Scan has been cast. Is there going to be a science vessel anytime soon? No, it does not seem to be. Mines are going to be... Ooh, spending all those scans, I'm not quite sure about that. That puts it in a bad position. There's a lot of Dark Templar here. You could feed them through slowly but surely and waste all the scans of the opponent. Dragon, however, is taking the 3rd base. The worker counts are now equalized. DT's doing a run around here through this high ground, but there is also a dropship as well. Dropship looks like it can't decide which way it wants to go. Is it just scouting? No, it does do the drop. Interesting drop locations. Doesn't lay mines. Doesn't seem to be engaging against the probes here because of the cannons here that are used for anti-drop defense, and is going to be carriers. DTs, I hear them slashing somewhere. Yes, they're fighting against stray army here. Scan does go down. Vessels are out now. And look at this army from Dragon. 83 supply. This is going to be a difficult push for Crazio P to stop. Equal bases. Actually, Dragon now climbing ahead in the in the base count by taking a 4th base here at the 4 o'clock position, but establishing in front of these 2 bridges here could be deadly for Crazio P. It's incredibly tough to break this position. It has mined out the back, but it does not really have all that much army. 24 army against 91. The Dark Templar worked for a little bit to stall this push. 1 carrier, how much can it do? Will we see any Goliath production coming in soon? Looks like 1 carrier is not going to be enough to stem the tide here. Cannons doing a lot of work though to the vultures that run in. The siege tanks do have to be pummeling them down from more of a distance. 2nd carrier now, and more on the way. It's going to be interesting to see if this hold can happen. The vulture count is really low now. Probes are being pulled. Siege tanks are moving forward as well. Mines are in good placements. Slow zealots, by the way. But the carrier is slowly whittling down this army. There are turrets being placed here, but I don't think turrets are going to be enough to stop the carrier production here. This game is turning into something really interesting, really special now. 4th base on the way here for both players. Actually 5th now for Crazio P. But it should be noted, of course, that the pressure at the front is mounting. Army supply has fallen drastically for Dragon, though. It was at over 80, now it's down to 60. Both players at over 70 workers. Carriers are slowly whittling down this force, and as the carrier count grows, we're going to eventually hit that critical mass when, you know, there's going to need to be a response from Dragon, whether it's going to be... Looks like it's Cloak Wraith is the options for now. Notably, there are no observers on the map at the moment, so this could actually be a good answer. This carrier is almost down to its main health. Cannons no longer there to provide detection or help. These probes are unsure of what to do, and so are these. So actually, even though the worker counts are the same, Crazio is definitely not mining as efficiently as Dragon is right now. And with the carriers being attacked... Oh, interesting. That vessel went down for some reason there. Yeah, so Crazio is still in a bit of a pickle. The pressure is not stopping from Dragon. Back up to 90 army already. Turrets are here. No Goliaths yet, interestingly enough. The Wraiths are being sent in 1 by 1. I'm not sure if that is the way you want to do it. You generally want to wait until there are more, but it is doing consistent damage. It is trying to keep that carrier count low. It's trying to keep them away from the tanks, as well as the tanks continue to take more territory in the center of Crazio's natural here. Dragon, meanwhile, is still happily mining on 4 bases, going, nope, that's not, yeah, actually, I somehow predicted that. It's going to kill the mines and take that base for itself. I like that. Siege tanks and vultures have now posted up, especially with the Wraith support and dropship play. Jeez, this is looking really good, but is it ever going to make Goliaths? Because the carrier count is still climbing. We're up to 4 carriers now, and the consistent flood of Wraiths, I mean 3 Wraiths against 4 carriers, it's not going to work out. Siege tanks and vultures now pushing up to the high ground. The cannons here are working so well with the carriers, and the carriers, now with this amount of interceptors, it's right about that critical mass where you want to be. and that this army is going to start hemorrhaging. Crazio P had half of the army supply of his opponent, but with no apparent answer to the carriers. I mean, they are losing a lot of health to these cloaked wraiths. They do have to stick close to the cannons, which are going down, so territory is being lost. There's actually no more Stargates at this point. It should be recognized here. And behind this, Dragon is just expanding like crazy. Look at this cheeky expansion from Crazio. It does get found before it becomes that much of help. There's another push actually coming up to this base, and with only 2 mining bases, you can't help but feel that Crazio's in a really tough spot. Somehow this push is continuing. I mean, look at the amount of turrets here. I mean, this is a non-inconsequential number of turrets. Turrets even being built on the high ground, unfortunately, is going to go down, but now there's not much army left in the natural of Crazio, so Crazio can start thinking about moving out. But there are a lot of vultures running around. Probes are definitely not going to be able to be transferred. And as the active economy from Crazio falls to being just 2 workers on minerals here, one Stargate is pumping, it should be noted. There is some money left, but it's difficult. It seems like it's very difficult for Crazio to get out of here. And with the wraiths fully surrounding and keeping tabs on the movement of the carriers, cloaking in and out, still no observatory for Crazio. You have to think that Dragon may have this one. So much economy behind this. 90 workers, maxed out supply, and Crazio just can't find a way out. The consistent Wraith movement here is keeping them penned in, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. The Nexus does go down in the top right. It's only probes and Dragoons now running around. How is this going to end? Carriers try to be brave and move out, but the Wraiths push them back again. Yeah, but there's still 2 probes on mining, 1 mineral in the bank for Crazio P. Interceptors going down would cost money. Heard some Wraiths go down, actually. The carriers are doing a great job of staying alive. The command center staying up. So it should be noted, by the way, that in the case of a draw, which happens in a timeout or in other scenarios, from what I know, there's a way to they determine the winner based on points. So even if Crazio manages to stall for long enough here to generate that tie condition, I have to feel that Dragon's points would just be higher because of the amount of minerals mined. Even if the score for Crazio in terms of units, in terms of, like KD and stuff like that, could be higher for Crazio than it is for Dragon, but I think we might not even get to that point as this push takes down the last mining base of Crazio. All that's left is this main base with a couple of cannons, and it's not going to take long for Dragon to go in for the kill here. It's using vultures to take down the last buildings, and this game is surely done with. Yes, indeed, Dragon wins game 1 against Crazio P. For the next game, we have Dragon and Crazio P again. Obviously, Crazio P spawning in the bottom left of Andromeda and sending a really quick scouting probe out, should be noted. In the bottom right, we have Dragon, the Terran, who just won game 1. It's going to be interesting to see how the play progresses here. Rax FE was a good option on Destination. It is also a good option on this map as well. With the relatively narrow choke, you can wall this up with 2 depots and a barracks, and it's actually going to be a cannon contain again from Crazio. That's the reason for this such an early expansion. I'm sorry, such an early scout. It is to set up that cannon contain early, but an SCV did manage to come out. It has scouted the opponent. Proxy could be useful here. Oh my goodness, so many probes being pulled to take down this one SCV. You kind of want to hear the Benny Hill Benny Hill theme song right now. But good takedown by Crazio. Did lose a lot of mining time achieving this though. 3 cannons up at the front already, and it's going to be Rax FE again from Dragon. You just have to feel that Rax FE is a great play and a great answer to this cannon container. It's like, why would I don't need to go out, and I don't need to do economic damage because you did it to yourself by producing these cannons here. However, it should be noted that it does give time for Crazio. And, ooh, this is interesting. It's going to be really fast DTs now. Definitely faster than last game, I feel. And there is a turret already up for Dragon. Wow. What is this? Why is it pulling the SCVs? This is... Oh my goodness. This is a turn I did not expect. Down to 2 workers. Dragon, really? Finally gets the siege mode, and now that it's at 0 workers and 26 minerals. Oh my goodness. So this maybe this is the master plan from Crazio. Like, maybe it knows that some AI have this vulnerability where they just bum rush the cannons down with SCVs, but now Dragon can't mine. This is Crazio's game for the taking, and I'm really excited to see the fact that we're not going to just see 3-0 sweeps in this tournament. The 3 DTs here can't engage because of the bunker, the turret, but Dragon's not mining. Crazio's the only one that's mining. That was quite a. I did not expect that at all. I guess it just goes to show you that you think you can predict it, but AI will often show you something different, and the strategy working out for Crazio in probably the most unexpected way here. Let's see how this all turns out. Gonna speed it up a little bit for you guys here, just to see how we're gonna finish this up. DT is finally making the plunge to go in, and with a carrier and support, are going to take down the empty base from Dragon now. That's all she wrote for him in this game, or her. And we're going on to game 3. 1-1. It's going to be Circuit Breaker. Dragon at the bottom right as the brown Terran. Crazio at the bottom left as the white Protoss. Again, sending that really quick probe scout. I'm anticipating that maybe we'll see the same thing. In the first game, Raxifi demonstrated why it's so good against the cannon opening, and in game 2 we saw why cannons are really good against SCVs apparently. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Had actually sent out 2 probe scouts, interestingly enough. Maybe there's a critical timing that it wants to hit. More SCVs are coming out now. Oh, SCVs being pulled on time now to take the cannons. This is an incredible bit of learning here. Wow, what a play. The cannons are denied. The Raxifi is on the way again. And what is Crazio going to do now? Crazio looks like it's still trying to place cannons. That's what it wants to do. It has 2 probes here, but the 1 Marine is going to be enough to hold it back. 2 SCVs skipping tabs on things over here. Looks like it is going to be DT again behind this. The SCV, is it not letting the Nexus go up? No, it looks like it's just kind of scouting around. Probe still unable to place the cannon, of course, because of the Marine here. The bunker is up now, and Dragon is going to take an economic lead again. It's so interesting to see that we basically had 3 games with the same desired openers from both of these AI, and all 3 games went so drastically different. So let's see how it goes from here. We're going to see a Citadel again. This could still be useful as a partial contain measure. We've seen how quickly Dragon can hemorrhage their scans, and right now don't have any detection whatsoever. The Citadel is on the way. Cannon's in the main base right now, possibly looking to take down the SCVs, but I think the SCV might have seen that Citadel. It's going to be interesting to see the response from Dragon. I anticipate that we'll see, yes, engineering bay is complete. Turret is now coming up in front of the bunker. This is a great defensive play. Looks like SCVs are pulled in case of Dragoon pressure at this moment. I think I just made my... Nope, everything's good. Okay. Sorry, I thought I stretched the screen a little bit. Anyway, looks like this is going to be a slightly more standard play from here on out. Nexus is coming up for Crazio P behind this eventual Dark Templar pressure, but actually Templar Archive is just now starting. This is a really greedy Nexus, I feel, before DT. Although it is also aware that this is Raxifi from Dragon, so pressure should not be coming forward quite as soon, but they could imaginably apply a little bit before the first DTs come out, but Dragon seems content to stay here. Interesting that it sometimes pulls these gas SCVs, and now it decided not to, maybe realizing that the pressure that's going to come in is not going to be able to stand up to 2 siege tanks and all these Marines. More factories now coming up. It is going to be mech play once again from Dragon. 48 workers. This is actually reminiscent of Haya's 4-fac. He had a 50 SCV 4-fac push that would punish the fast third from Protoss, and we do have a third actually on the way for Crazio, so this could be opportune. No scan yet though, unfortunately, and the 2 DTs are going to be able to contain for a little bit. They do take out an SCV, unable to expand here. So the contain is on with DTs. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly Crazio can get those carrier numbers up. 2 starports already up. Do we see the Fleet Beacon? Yes, Fleet Beacon is almost done. It's in the natural. Finally, scans coming down now. But with only 2 scans to spend, and having spent both of them now, the contain is still on. It looks like trying to build things. Is this a science facility? Because that could be a bad loss if it's not able to bring that up. Science vessels, of course, so crucial for taking down these DTs and preventing the contain from getting worse. In the meantime, up to 4 base, and taking the risky near 4th base is Crazio. Generally, you don't want to expand in this direction against Terran because Terran can just siege push their way down here, but with DTs containing and preventing the completion of the science facility, oh boy, that is tough. Dragon, these SCVs want to go in. They see the invisible DTs. They know that they're there, but can't do anything against it. Waiting for the next scan. It would need to do it with these next 2 scans. I think it has the energy for it, but the army is not moving forward. Zealots in production now. Looks like they're slow lots, though. Carriers, our first ones are coming out now. Some more are on the way. And first scan. Oh, this is a good take. They take down the science facility. There's no production from Dragon, actually. Floating up to 4,000 minerals. It's confused. It doesn't know what to do. The scan's used up now. It's going to try to place... No, it can't. The depots. Interesting choice. Carrier with no anti-air besides the turret and 3 marines here. The carrier should do well, but in these low numbers, it's still struggling to take down the army quick enough. Mines are taking down some DTs, but with no vision right now. SCVs are going down. Mine drag there takes some more. Another mine drag took some more army out, and only 46 workers now for Dragon, with Crazio sitting pretty at 75. This carrier is going to help continue the contain. Vultures are trying now to harass, but there are cannons at these bases protecting the economies. There are some probes going down, it should be noted. It's great for Dragon to be able to move out like this, but this one carrier here has been doing quite the number on Dragon. There are Wraiths now. It seems to be that's Dragon's preferred answer to them. These probes are not going to be able to transfer over. We saw this in the last game a little bit. Whoa, that carrier definitely went down to that cloaked Wraith now, so there is some progress being made. The production queue does look to be in Crazio's favor with the stronger economy, but the army count is in Dragon's favor for sure. More factories were attempted to be out of here. The TT still being annoying here. Jeez. Carriers over here. Cloaked Wraiths, though. Still no observatory for Crazio. We definitely want to see observers in conjunction with these carriers. Carrier count is higher than the first game, though. So, might be enough to hold this. This is going to depend on the Wraith control, the Wraith numbers. The siege tanks do go down. This base is down, though. Wraiths now coming back in to engage. There is quite a number of them. The production is continuing, but it looks like those maybe don't have the energy. Mines here. Nice coverage of mines from Dragon. And this game is close now. The economic advantage is still in Crazio's favor, but given what we've seen in the past, maybe this is the opening that Dragon is looking for before it can start doing that dangerous push of its. The dropship is going to pick up a couple of vultures, or at least it tried to. No. Crazio managing to retain its 3rd base and continue mining there. One cannon there is going to deflect vulture harass at a reasonable level. In the meantime, Dragon did take this base. It's kind of exposed, but because of carrier's slow movement speed, you can't help but feel that this might be the most prudent choice. More carriers being made. And it should be noted that we don't often see carriers nowadays. I know that they were much more prominent in the earlier days of AI, but it looks like when there's solutions like this with Cloak Wraiths, carriers maybe have been underperforming recently, but it is an interesting build option from Crazio. Cannon contain into DT contain into carriers. That is something that you don't see every day in competitive Brood War. So really enjoying seeing something new and fresh here, and the game is still close. I mean, the siege tanks are trying to push down to this 6 o'clock base as I mentioned before, but Crazio's on a total of 6 bases now, and so still maintaining that economic advantage as well. Dragon is, struggling to produce army. The carriers are climbing in number. The wraiths are not as much. The carriers are being pulled in all directions a little bit. You know, there's 2 here, like a couple there, but it is preventing the completion of this base. It is standing on top of the production facilities here, so this is good pressure from Crazio. The expansion is still up for Dragon. It's completely undefended though. Oh, what's happened here? Oh, here comes the Seeking Mine there. I like the mine placement in general. The Wraith count is still going to need to be higher, though, to really challenge these carriers. The carriers are being used both defensively and offensively. More expansions as well for Crazio. Dragon with a drop here. It may be looking for probes with a vulture, but no, unfortunately, it does not find any. Siege tanks could have been good. Dropping the vultures on this coming up base that is coming up, sorry, for Crazio. Crazio sending the carrier in support in response. Now let's get an update on this. Ooh, the carriers are being pushed back. This number of wraiths is climbing now to a dangerous number. Only 1 more being produced, 2 more now with the starport as well. Would really love to see greater production. There's also not much factory production right now. It seems like, or at least siege tank production. Dragoons are going to be doing well here, but still no observers. That has been the weakness of Crazio against Dragon. The mines and the raids continuing to do a lot of damage here, but this game is too close to call right now. I mean, Dragon is climbing steadily up in economy. It did manage to take that mineral only. Looks like it is expanding to a 5th base as well at the top right. The turrets now coming up in numbers. Wraiths out to apply pressure. Carriers are hurt pretty bad at this time. That Wraith saves itself by cloaking and leaving. Siege tank pressure is going to deny mining at this base for a little bit, at least until the carriers can take care of it. But the repairs, the Dragon just has it all covered right now, it seems like. And the siege tank continuing to pummel on this base. No? Yes, it is. Carriers up to 4 now here. But the amount of turrets are causing a constant strain on Crazio's economy. And actually, Crazio's maxed, but it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly where all that supply is. I mean, maybe it's not all workers. It has 75. It should have a lot more. Maybe it's still in production. And if these carriers join soon, the numbers will be great enough where I think that they would be able to challenge these turrets and the amount of wraiths that are present. Maybe still just waiting to get the interceptors up on that. As you can see, there's a constant production of interceptors as they go down to these anti-air options. And now with, what is this, 9 carriers here on the screen? One of them kind of flew away. With this number of carriers, it is starting to look a little dicey. The siege tank has been pushed back a little bit, but wraiths are again now, cloaked wraiths hunting down the carriers. Observers nowhere to be found. Would be so crucial here and could win the game essentially for Crazio, but it looks like Crazio might not even need that. Still no Goliath production. The turret count is dwindling here, and the carrier count and interceptor count continues to rise. Maxed out is Crazio now against the 130 supply of Dragon. Dragon losing ground here. Did manage to get an expansion up here, but there are carriers also in this area. Looks like they're mostly tasked to defending the expansion from Crazio, but Crazio's mining has been relatively untouched this whole time. The vultures unable to poke into any of these bases at this time. Mining has resumed at the 6 o'clock base for Crazio P as well. But I still would like to have seen a combined push from Crazio. The carriers in high enough numbers would absolutely be enough to push through this. But the wraith count is climbing. Should be noted. The production not quite there, it seems, from Dragon. This of course has done a number on its economy, even though it does still have 3 mining bases. It's not able to continuously pump as many units as it may like to. The amount of mines here is going to help against any ground army, but it's the carriers that are the main problem right now. Wraiths are hunting down this carrier. That carrier does go down. This wraith goes down. They're not able to cloak. They don't have the energy to do so. And this might be the changing of the tide when Dragon can again start applying pressure. The mines are doing a good job of keeping the Dragoons out of the base, but with this carrier count now climbing, I think that it's only a matter of time before Dragon has to fold behind this. I mean, as I say that, the carriers are still going down. Wraiths, as soon as they get the energy too, they are applying pressure and targeting down carriers. Another one goes down off screen. You could hear it, but the economy is again being harassed by the carriers here, and it doesn't seem like this battle is going to favor Dragon in the long run. Even despite the carrier snipes, despite the lack of observers, the turrets are being taken down now, slowly but surely. One carrier, another carrier does go down. Let's find out what happens next. I mean, it looks like, it just seems like Dragon has no answer for this now. Dragon is almost mined out. I mean, it's mined out of its main and natural base. All the turrets are going down now. The Wraith support not enough to take down the carriers. Almost all the turrets are down. The Dragoons are going to be eating mines and siege tank fire, but territory definitely gained by the carriers here. And if this base goes down, I see that this base is also being attacked here as well by more carriers. I can't help but feel that Dragon is standing on its last legs, and it's gonna go down 1 and 2. Match point now for Crazio going into the next game. 2-1 in his favor. So let's jump right into that. Let me just make sure that I got that correctly. Yes, I did. Okay. Alright, game 4. It's going to be on Benzene. At the top right, we have Crazio as the Peach Protoss, and at the bottom left, we have Dragon as the Red Terran. Now, this map has historically been better for Terran, and given Dragon's approach to kind of like a no-nonsense, Rax FE type-oriented style, I can't help but feel that this map would work well for that. The rush distance is incredibly long, but that also means that Crazio does not need to scout and look for his opponent. He's just going to start building cannons in front of the base of Dragon right away. Dragon, as a result, is not going to be able to react to this in time because of the fact that Crazio has had to spend less time looking for his opponent. So this could, interestingly enough, work out in Crazio's favor, as Crazio seems to be going for the same thing that I did before. We see the Gateway and the gas coming up. Most likely going to see the Cybernetics Core and then the Citadel into DTs again. Now aware of the situation, is it going to be another hemorrhage of SCVs and units? The bunker is in range of the cannon slightly, in the sense that when the SCV is building it, the chances are that it hovers over this way and the cannons take it out. So the reaction from Dragon is to just hemorrhage SCVs into it and Marines. So it's going to be, oh, the siege tank is up, but oh, it's sieged up in range of the cannons. No, what a blunder. Oh, this could be so good for Crazio. And this is something you wouldn't anticipate to work, but because this AI world, this is working. This is going to win the series. This cannon contain, it seems like it's going to win the series. I mean, losing the first siege tank was so huge there. Now hemorrhaging SCVs again. No, you hate to see it. The siege tanks being a little bit more careful now are going to start pushing back the cannons, but the DTs are already out. First turret comes in just in time, but there's not a lot of army here. The 2 DTs can actually end this right now if they run in. Scared of the turret, though, it seems. Repairs could also be a factor as well, but with 2 DTs, you know, dishing out about 80 damage or 30 damage or whatever it is to siege tanks that they would be together, I feel like they could have taken that down, but maybe opting instead to preserve its numbers. There is no detection beyond this point for Dragon, so the siege tank is going to go down eventually. The DT contain is on. Running a little bit too close to the detection here, loses another DT, and more are being made. And up to 4 base is now Crazio, and Dragon still struggling. Half the worker count now. This opening has definitely thrown it for a twist. This is exactly what I was talking about. I don't think that this was Crazio P's, you know, like regular standard approach leading up to this, and I don't think that the author of Dragon could have anticipated or coded something for it. And with all that being said and done, the army count is the same, but the worker count is tremendously in Crazio's favor. The DTs are out here again. No Comsat station yet. First one's coming up now here. It seems second one's coming up as well. So Dragon may be able to reclaim some map presence at this time, but DTs try to run in, are not successful. They do get taken down there. Scan is being used as well. And a fifth base now for Crazio. And when are the carriers coming? The carriers are already out. Looking at this series as a whole, if we just disregard the game where Dragon sent all of their workers into the cannons on Andromeda, it seems like this opening went from not working that well to working better and better against Dragon. So I don't know if it's a map dependent thing. I don't know if there was some adaptation from Crazio, because that is allowed in this tournament. There is a write file that you can write information into to help influence your game against opponents. The carriers are already out as Dragon tries to take its third base. This is a similar situation to last game, but it feels like the carriers are out even earlier now at the 12-minute mark. And there is absolutely no anti-air here. This is not buildable terrain as well, so this portion is going to get cleaned up faster than even in the previous games, without turrets being present to provide anti-air coverage or take out interceptors. 3 carriers now, it seems like, are out. 3 carriers is definitely going to be enough to take down these turrets and apply pressure to Dragon here. Dragon scans here and finds the DT, but there's only a limited amount of scans left. DT carrier pressure, you love to see it. More turrets are trying to be put up, but the carrier pressure is too much. The Vultures looks like they thought about running out and doing some harassment, but Crazio now on 7 bases, just an absolute monster and demonstration of macro here, or at least economy. Incredible use there of the different bases. Going to be mining very efficiently at all of them. Carrier production is continuing. Floating, not that much gas, so definitely is prioritizing getting that gas, or should be. Carriers are being pumped out. There's a lot of them, and Dragon is under pressure. The Wraiths, the standard response, it seems, from them are out, but they've never come in quite this late against this number of carriers, I feel. They always held it somewhat competitive, but the carriers are just came out too early and in too great of a force here. They are going to disrupt the mining from that third base, maybe even take down the command center. They do indeed. And the pressure is on. Dragon, locked into 2 bases, is throwing down turrets madly, but with Dragoons here as well to help take down those turrets. I mean, the Sea Snake is nice, going to be here with the D-Matrix. That's cute, but it's not going to be enough to stem the tide of Crazio, I feel. And these carriers are doing work. They're taking down the turrets, taking down the SCVs, and with this constant hemorrhage, Dragon now at a quarter supply of Crazio. I think it's safe to say that this is GG, and Crazio P advances in the winner's bracket 3-1 against Dragon. Really surprising outcome after seeing that first game, where it just seemed like Dragon won so soundly. Don't call it a comeback though, because this has shown that it not only abuses AI in some scenarios, pardon me, but it has the brawn to back it up too. It's macroing like crazy. It expanded all over the map, took basically every other base at this point. So it's definitely not a fluke. Fantastic play from both sides here. Really interesting and fun games. Thank you both a lot for that. So can I edit this now? Am I allowed to? Am I allowed to report scores? No, it seems like, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So 3-1 for Crazio P over Dragon. Next up, we're going to be looking at Monster versus Proxy. It's going to be a ZVZ. These are 2 of the most advanced, easily Zerg player, so it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out in ZVZ. And here we go with Game 1. Game 1 is going to be starting on Fighting Spirit, with Proxy at the bottom left as the blue Zerg and Monster on the bottom right as the orange Zerg. Monster sending the Overlord in the direction where Proxy will be, and Proxy as well. both, interestingly enough, sending their overlords in the correct direction. Is going to be interesting to see how this plays out, how they react to each other, how they react to the knowledge of the location of their opponent based on the overlord path, because obviously when the overlords see each other, they'll know that the opponent is in the opposite direction. Yeah, it's really interesting to me, because normally you would anticipate that they might scout clockwise or counterclockwise, but in this case they both scouting horizontal. Maybe generally you might want to go clockwise on Fighting Spirit, I feel like, because of the fact that there you can see the natural earlier, but seems like our music has turned off for now, but we can put them back on now. Yes, there we go. So Monster at the bottom right is looking to be going for what seems to be a 9 pool speed. Let me see the upgrades in the research. Yep, speed is on the way for both of them. Looks like it was 9 pool speed for both. 9 workers for Proxy though, and fast layer for Monster. So maybe it was overpool for Monster. No. Proxy takes the first blood here, is going to try to poke up the ramp. Monster does have a number of lings requisite to defend. Looks like they're just going to hold the ramp, actually. Second hatchery on the way, it seems, for Proxy, which is going to be interesting, because there is going to be a sufficient number of Zergling pressure soon to maybe hit a timing before the Spire's up. That is that Spire coming up now. If they hit this timing, it would be so good for it, but the Sunken Colony coming up here does make it seem that it would be difficult for it to do so. The Zergling count is climbing as well, Monster not being too greedy, and actually is going to try to pressure with the Zerglings, but now seeing the number is going to back off and go back to his defensive position. Doesn't really need to apply pressure at this point, because it does have that tech advantage, does have that Spire almost completed, and really no anti-air from Proxy. Is going 3 hatch, is hoping for a 3 hatch Ling mass, but you can't help but feel that it's a little bit late now that the Spire is out. There's not going to be a lot of Mutalisks at first, but with 2 Sunkens, I feel that it will be adequately prepared to hold this Zergling pressure, at least for now, at least until the Mutalisks come out. However, even if you look at the army counts, that's going to be 22 Zerglings for Monster, I believe, and around 37 for Proxy. Now the Mutalisks are going to chase the Zerglings back, and this is the problem with this kind of build. You're now in danger, but the Mutalisks are going to stay at home. It seems like they're going to at least take down this Overlord first. They're going to try to help defend. Nice Zergling movement there. I'm going to slow it down. Oh no, it's too late now. But great army movement there from both players. Attempts to surround, falling back to the Sunkens. Great defensive play from Monster here. Amazing, amazing, amazing. 4 Sunkens now is definitely going to be enough to stem the tide, or stop the pressure from the Zerglings. And now the Mutalisks are going out. They're going to go on a hunt. They're going to go on the prowl. Is there going to be any defensive? No, there's no anti-air defense at all for Proxy. Proxy was hoping to end it with the Ling Flood. The big engagement here. Lots of Lings died. This is going to be big, but with 4 Sunkens here, I can't help but feel that there's not going to be enough Zerglings, and Proxy doesn't believe in it either. And now the Mutalisks are back to help defend as well. Still no signs of anti-air. It's an all-in Zergling build from Proxy, and unfortunately, with the Zerglings so far out of position, the Muta's able to pick them off freely. Now the Mutalisk count is climbing. We're up to going to be 7 soon Mutalisks, it seems. Yes, 7 Mutalisks now for Monster, and this is surely GG now, as the Zerglings, helpless against the Mutalisks, are going to be hemorrhaged here, and they can't even engage against the base. They just kind of running around. So, first win does go to Monster. Really, really great army movement and Sunken use, like playing defensive and conservative while going for a 1-hatch Mutalisk play definitely is a way to win ZVZ. Proxy going all in, but never quite committed to busting in. Perhaps it was because it's a credit to Monster that they always had just enough to prevent Proxy from thinking of running in, and when they did run in, the army movements were just incredible. So, with no more drones and less than 50 minerals, it surely is GG here for Proxy, and Monster wins game 1. Let's go into the next game. In In the bottom left, we have Proxy as the purple Zerg, and in the top left, we have Monster as the red Zerg. This map is Empire of the Sun, and is going to be interesting to see what happens here. Monster scouting clockwise again, but this map is slightly different because the naturals are here. So scouting towards the nearer natural again. Looks like Proxy did not do that. They did go for overpool, while interesting hatch first play from Monster here. I believe that was 9 hatch, 9 pool, 9 gas. Yeah, that seems like that's the correct analysis there. And what that does is that, first of all, it allows you for earlier creep spreads, so you can put that in your natural and get that creep earlier than you would in other hatchery first builds. And second of all, it gives you that second larva earlier, which is great for producing more Zerglings than your opponent, which is great for defense. In the meantime, Proxy actually is the one that is going for, they went for a second hatchery of their own, and they're going for a quick layer here. So it's going to come down to the micro and the Zergling counts. Proxy may have the advantage here, trying to use the high ground there, but didn't get a quite good arc. Losing some Zerglings here. This is not a good look for Proxy. Proxy now adding Sunkens defensively, similar to what we saw last game from Monster. But Zerglings run in, and the Zergling numbers are quite high. I see drones go down, and the control from Monster and the timing of the production was just too great. The Spire goes down, and Proxy is unable to get revenge on Monster there for their Mutalisk play in game 1. And Proxy goes down 0-2 in this series as Monster looks to seal the deal in game 3. What happened here? Did I miss something? So we have to, I have to double check the results there because, interesting. So it looks like we're going into the next game. I do remember Mr. Sertiki telling me something about this, that there's something called a low score game, as far as I understand, and maybe that's why they decided to replay Empire of the Sun, this time with Monster spawning at the top right as the white Zerg and Proxy at the bottom left as the brown Zerg. So I'm not sure if does it not count that game? I think it does. It has to. So Monster is up 2-0 going into game 3 here. Looks like Monster is again opting for, looks like it was overpool. Yeah, overpool gas. With Proxy again, actually Proxy is the one that looks like it went for a hatchery first build. Looks like it might have been, this should have been, that was like 10 hatch, I think. That's what it seems like. Going to be interesting to see where we go from here. And it's again 1 hatch muta for Monster. Proxy with 2 hatchers soon though, could have the production to challenge that. Zerglings are being made now, quite a number of them, but layer is actually about 75% complete for Monster already. More Zerglings out now for Monster. Monster is not sparing any expense, not trying to save up larva, not trying to get economically ahead, more focused on buying time for those Mutalisks, which I believe is the right play. And again, a 3rd hatchery from Proxy here. Looks like it's going to be, again, the Zergling Flood build. Will it be able to hit in time to stop the Spire? This time the Spire is on its way up. It's about 25% of the way there. 2 Sunkens made again. The Zergling count is quite great. Army is actually in Monster's favor here, so Zergling counts cannot be that different between the 2 players at this moment, but production, of course, favoring Proxy. Now, we do have a Sunken up for Proxy, perhaps misreading the situation based on the Zergling counts it saw. I like this little ring here so that the Zerglings can't run in and try to attack the drones, but no such attempt is forthcoming from Proxy. Proxy just now summoning the units to go run forward. Ooh, that's a cute little Zergling there, used to scout the numbers perhaps, distract the enemy army while you get your Mutalisks out. First Mutalisk is out. Proxy did spot it. So let's see if there's going to be any anti-air this time. No, it's going to be consistent. Looks like Zergling and drone production. Another hatchery. Interesting. But with the Mutalisks out, you can't help but feel that Proxy is not going to be able to apply pressure here. More Sunkens on the way. 3 Sunkens, another hatchery. Nope, that's another colony actually. And even though most of the Zerglings did go down for Monster, Proxy is now going to have to run home because it can't it can't apply enough pressure. The Mulists are now arriving at the economy of proxy, and with these drones going down, you can't help but feel that the game is over. And another cute Ling just drawing the entire enemy force out. There's actually quite a lot of Zerglings now, actually. This is a little bit dangerous, but oh, they're splitting up. I'm not sure about this. Some of them are still trapped in here. They're going to try to run in. They're going to take down one Sunken, maybe even two, but no. It's not going to work out that way. The Mutas were forced back for a little bit, trying to engage. And look at this, another Zergling, leading Zergling. That's so cute. And now, as the drones fall once again, it looks like Monster, who has been the breakout Zerg of this year, I would have to say, for all things considered, is going to advance to through the winners bracket 3-0 against Proxy here. So fantastic game. Thank you, and congratulations to Monster. Proxy, of course, is going to be going into the losers bracket, so they're not out quite yet. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. And now for our final series, we're going to have Hao Pan against Xiao Yi, 2019, sorry. So, let me see. And that's going to be a TVT, so let's hop right into that. In the top left on La Mancha, we have Xiao Yi as the purple Terran. At the top right of La Mancha, we have Hao Pan as the teal Terran. I'm curious. I'm not sure why the maps are not the same for all the series. Maybe we could get some feedback in the comments from that, or someone could DM me. But it is kind of weird for me. But maybe, I don't know. Anyway, TVT, really insane matchup in the AI world, partially because of the fact that, you know, with thousands of APM, you could almost constantly be applying pressure to someone's contain, or repositioning your contain to be more obstructive, perfect rallies, perfect macro. It's really, really different from what we see in human play quite often, but they tend to start out quite normally. Right now we see Xiao Yi is going for that early gas, slightly faster than Hao Pan. Both, though, are going to be going for a one base tech for now. It seems like Factories should be coming up shortly. Factories, of course, being standard for Terran versus Terran. Mech play is the name of the game, most likely. One Marine from both players, it seems like. Are we going to see another one? No. One Marine is, you know, just a general safe option. You can also scout with it, as we are seeing here from Xiao Yi. The SCVs look like they were thinking about walling this. No, that's a bunker. That could be a somewhat damaging option here from Hao Pan, considering the fact that now his factory is later. However, it does get the defensive advantage here. Vultures may not be interested in approaching. I like this little game that they're playing here. More Marines being made, interestingly enough. Behind this, what is Xiao Yi doing? Xiao Yi did a bunker of their own, and the natural also would help stem any vulture pressure. Marines are going down now. They looks like they're just running in up this bunker, up to this bunker for no apparent reason. Looks like, oh yeah, another one goes down. Vulture tries to run in. It goes down as well. So as long as Xiao Yi is hemorrhaging army like this, Hao Pan's decision to make a bunker seems to be justified. Looks like another vulture will go down. Yes, indeed. Now vultures are out for Hao Pan on the map. Looks like Hao Pan is scouting with his. Looks like there's a little bit of a vulture war here. Let's see how that goes. Advantage went to Xiao Yi, probably first shot, and nice chase down micro. Two vultures now against one here. One goes down. It's going to chase down the other one, though. And these constant trades, are they going to continue? Looks like they're trying to take down... Ooh, a Wraith now for Hao Pan. Interesting. Is there any anti-air for Xiao Yi? No, does not seem to be the case. The Wraith is going to take down this vulture. And let's see. Vulture, Wraith pressure. Command center up for Xiao Yi, but still no anti-air besides the occasional Marines. Looks like more factories are being thrown up. Still no armory, which is concerning because you do want a Goliath or a turret, at least from an engineering bay at this point, considering the fact that there's Wraiths out on the map. Let's see. command center now coming up from Hao Pan using the map control that it has. Great mine coverage here, going to prevent anything but vultures apparently from leaving. Vultures being microed well by Xiao Yi here. They do manage to find a way out. Looks like they're going to try to apply pressure of their own. Just to bunker up on the high ground. Is not going to defend this command center position, laying mines of its own now in the natural. I like this play here. Let's see. And actually a lot of SCVs have gone down from Hao Pan. And that's all because of the fact that there's no... I'm sorry, yeah, it's not from Hao Pan. Xiao Yi has lost a lot of SCVs, and that's because there's no anti-air. Factories are being attempted to be made, but no ability to come in. And the Wraiths here being defensive against the Vultures, and it seems like just the presence of a starport was enough to end Xiao Yi's game and chances here. The pressure still continuing to take down SCVs. There is an armory up now, so I'm surprised to see that there's no Goliath production. I think Goliaths would definitely be helpful here. Comparing the worker counts, Xiao Yi at 16 against the 28 of Hao Pan. Yeah, it's looking really rough for Xiao Yi here as we go into the next game. I mean, it seems like it just can't get the ball rolling, can't ever get the production it needs. Yeah, I don't think there's a way back for this for Xiao Yi. I mean, I've seen crazier things happen, but now the harass has migrated to the natural. More SCVs are being taken down, and the worker count now just at 4 for Hao Pan. And that might be all she wrote. I'm gonna blow my nose, I'll be right back. Alright, back into it again. Yeah, the bases are being taken down by the army from Hao Pan, and I think that it's quite safe to say that this game is over. We're going on to game number 2. It's going to be on Tau Cross. Hao Pan spawning as the red Terran at the 10 o'clock position, and Xiao Yi spawning as the green Terran at the 1 o'clock position. Tau Cross, quite an old map, but some famous games on this. Flash for Jadon, considered one of the greatest games of all time. Definitely recommend checking that out. I believe it was in WCG 2008, maybe 2009. And looks like we're going to be seeing gas first openings from both players again. It's going to be interesting to see if we see Hao Pan again opting for the Wraiths, which were so effective against Xiao Yi in the last game, and if Xiao Yi instead is going to opt for some anti-air this time around. Immediate factory here, no bunkers. Maybe... I'm not quite sure why the distinction. Actually, no, there is the bunker now. It's not in time to stop the marine pressure, though. And actually, a lot of SCVs got pulled there, and those were the gas SCVs as well, so that might delay things a little bit. The marine vulture pressure doing way more than it did last game against the bunker, but eventually it seems that Hao Pan is going to be able to get the numbers necessary to move out. No. I do want to note that Xiao Yi's micro is really, really nice. It has been getting the upper hand in a lot of situations outside of the natural of Xiao Yi. I'm sorry, Hao Pan, but now with the first Wraith out, there's still no anti-air. Marine production has started. Looks like it's going to try to use Marines to take down the Wraith. No, it does not. It's sending the Marines forward. I wish it would use those Marines to defend itself, because it seems like we're going to be seeing a repeat of the previous game with the Wraiths raining down lasers from the sky, pew pew, and the SCVs dying in explosive deaths, unable to be saved without any anti-air coming out of Xiao Yi, which is perhaps unfortunate, but that is the way it goes. Sometimes you just go out like a buster. And yeah, it looks like the SCVs are going to be hemorrhaged, and Hao Pan is going to go up 2-0 against Xiao Yi, and we're going to be going into game 3 quite soon. Let's make sure that we don't miss anything. Looks like army is still being built up for 15 workers still for Xiao Yi, but that's less than half now of Hao Pan. More SCVs being taken down in both bases now, and you can't help but feel that this is over. The Wraiths take down the siege tank. The siege tank takes down the bunker, the vultures run in, and that is all she wrote. Let me just make sure that I am not making a mistake. Nope, it looks like everything is on point here. Let's see, and let's go to game 3. Hao Pan versus Xiao Yu. Again on La Mancha, interesting. Wait, is this the same game? No way, right? I think the colors were different. Hao Pan is the orange Terran at the top right, and Xiao Yi is the blue Terran at the left. The way we'll know is if the bunkers are placed in exactly the same place, then I'll know for sure. Yeah, I think this is a different game now. Let's see. Yeah, I'm quite certain that this is a different game. Yeah, we didn't have this level of success before. Great micro there from Xiao Yi, but unfortunately it was not enough, and we're going to start with this ever-filling bunker. They just keep walking in and out of the door. Maybe it's caused by this SCV running in and out of range or close to it, but vultures now again being sacrificed by Xiao Yi again and again and again, and we're going to see a very similar game to the first two, I believe, as the starport is already completed for Hao Pan. Still no anti-air has been made by Xiao Yi, and this is going to be it's going to be painful, I believe, to watch another game lost because of no anti-air. Very unfortunate. Sometimes you just get bad matchup like this, or maybe just a slight gap in your gameplay has been exposed. Hurts to have it happen on the one of the biggest stages, but it seems that this game is going to be over. In due time. Yeah, SCV's being hemorrhaged again. I'm not sure. Is it? Maybe there was a mistake with the replays that I was sent. Maybe I made a mistake somehow. Somehow playing the games out of order. I will check. It seems that Hao Pan is going to seal the deal in this game, unfortunately, though, in much the same way. But actually, there's quite a lot of vultures here. They take down quite a number of SCVs. Maybe it was too quick for me to say that it's over, but now with the Wraith here, no anti-air again is going to be proved to be effective defensively and offensively. The push has been stopped by Wraiths and Mines and Vultures again. And yes, the economy here is just not looking good for Xiao Yi against Hao Pan. And I think that is all she wrote. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the first half of the round of 16 bracket. The second half will be covered by next weekend by Nightcat, and then after that we will be doing both the winners and the losers brackets going forward. We will be casting every game played in the tour. So just a quick recap, since we don't have since I couldn't enter the scores here, just quick recap. Stardust 3-0 against Tier Protoss, advancing to the winners bracket. We'll be facing against Crazio, who won 3-1 against Dragon. So Stardust and Crazio for our round of 8 match 1, and Monster and Hao Pan going to be our round 2 second match in the winners bracket. The losers bracket, I would like to see it actually filled out before giving anything conclusive about how that's going to look. But you can see the general format here. As you can see, losers of the first round go into here. They fight their way all the way to the finals. The grand finals are going to be the winner of the losers bracket against the winner of the winners bracket. Now, let us take a look at what's going on here. I mean, more of the same. The Wraith count is extraordinary. This is a different game now. I think it's quite clear that this is a different... Actually, I'm not sure, because I had to blow my nose at the end there. So I maybe did not notice. I'm gonna double check. I'm just gonna pop this first game in that we did just to make sure that the colors and everything are the same. Let me see, what is the size of the file? That could be... No, they're definitely different games. I just double checked the sizes. They're not the same. They just they played on La Mancha twice for some reason. Who knows? But I don't think the map played that much of a factor in this. It looks like Hao Pan won quite easily because of the Wraith and because of the lack of anti-air reaction from Xiao Yi. So that just about does it for our broadcast here today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As I said, this is the SSCAIT 2020 through 2021 round of 16 broadcast part 1. We went through these 4 matches. Next week we will be looking at Banana Brain versus Mad Mix, Ironbot versus Marion Deveka, Beta Star, who's been a rising star, by the way, and finished in 3rd seed. Very excited to see that against Willie T. And closing out, we'll have Purple Wave against Steam Hammer. So definitely come back next week. I hope you stay healthy, happy, and safe. And yeah, I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching. Take care.